Good afternoon and welcome to Keeping Up in the Quad Cities. I'm Johnny Marx, the host of our show, and with me today is one of our all-time people, someone that I have the utmost respect for, aside from a tremendous sense of humor and someone that has always made me laugh, someone that I know has always had a huge impact, a positive impact on our community, Gary Thrapp, who, among the many titles, owns and operates Beyond the Baseline in the youth sports complex in Davenport, among many, many other things. Gary, if you can for just a moment, and you, like everybody else, have lights and bills and you have to keep the utilities on. What has COVID done to bringing young people together to participate in sports at Beyond the Baseline? What's it been like the last few months?
Well, very odd. There's no doubt about it, as you can imagine. A lot of instability, of course,
Sure.
Not only within us as adults, but of course the kids. So these are very difficult times, but you know, if we're strong and we're smart, we'll utilize these times to try to do better and to try to think about everything we're doing and how we can improve. So gosh, from the standpoint of actually making some improvements at Beyond the Baseline and reevaluating everything that we're doing, it's been good, but dealing with so many of the instabilities that we have as a community and as a culture, it's been very challenging. So we just keep moving forward and trying to work really hard for our kids and our community.
Gary, have you had an opportunity to have kids that have, I saw some young people practicing the other day. Have you had tournaments? Have you been able on the AAU front to be really careful and allow some competition?
Yeah, we followed the state guidelines and then communicated with our Scott County Health Department to make sure we were doing the right thing. So we actually didn't have anything going on April, May. In June, we were given the go-ahead to start doing some things on a limited basis. So we followed as best we could, sure, understanding what the guidelines were. As you know, you can ask 100 people what we're supposed to do and might get 100 answers. So this hasn't been easy stuff. So we tried to err on the side of caution a little bit to make sure we're doing the right thing. So starting in June, I just kind of slowly had things progress a little bit. We just had some games over the weekend. So it was great to see the kids out there competing, but at the same time, it really youth sports really exposes the good, the bad, and the ugly in people. As you know, it can bring out the best in people. It can, you can see some challenges that we have and see some things that we really need to improve upon. And I will say, as an event coordinator, this has been the most difficult time, sure, this last 2 or 3 months, seeing how we are so divided in many aspects, or how, maybe I should say, a small conflict can escalate so quickly, and how we have to really work harder to try to de-escalate things, but yet make positive improvements so we all feel included in what we're doing, if that makes sense.
It does, on so many avenues. Gary, a few years back, the boys shootout in the Quad Cities of basketball at the Christmas time is not going to happen this year, but it has long been a staple. The girls shootout, Gary, as you know, had taken a spiraling downward turn for several years. And then you and with the folks from IH Mississippi Valley stepped in, saw a need, have taken it to great heights in just a short period of time. Is that still a possibility in January, or are you still exploring those options, or is that a really steep and slippery slope that we need to avoid right now?
Well, as you know, in anything you do, you need willing accomplices. And if, the state of Illinois won't help, make something happen.
I understand.
And so this event means so much to myself and the kids playing in it in our community that I've been holding off as long as possible to try to make it work. Not knowing, so many uncertainties. You don't know what's going to happen from day to day. Having said that, it's not looking good. I'm looking to make a decision this week and make an announcement this week. I've communicated with IH, Mississippi Valley Credit Union, who's been a huge sponsor with you at Medicom and Quad City Times, and all the great partners we have to help make this a great event. And we'll get it done this week, what we're doing. So not easy.
It's one of my favorite things, Gary.
Talk about it. So,
Talk about it as somebody who, and you and I sat down a week ago and had a really nice chat. You have long been a mentor to, and it's more than just coaching, Gary. We all know that. You've always found a way to communicate with young people. First of all, how and what possessed you to take that step X amount of years ago and I know you have children of your own, but to realize that you can exceed the boundaries of home and mentor and try to take a positive voice and message to young people, and then maybe answer a few questions for them or maybe guide them in the right way. I've always seen young people kind of drawn to you the way you do things, and when your voice is heard, it resonates. How did that get started, and why, Gary? Where'd you see the need?
Well, I have the unique experience of owning a facility where hundreds and thousands of kids over the last 16 years that I've owned it have come through. And they're coming through not just to hang out, they're coming through to try to be the best that they can be. And so you see them kind of exposed on their abilities, their current situation, and you see we in the Quad Cities have such an incredible diverse community. It's amazing how diverse it is. And so I've been able to really see how different people with different backgrounds operate, I guess, if that makes sense, and to try to help. So I've learned so many different ways that people are growing up and what young people are going through. And I'm a good listener. I love to listen. I love to watch how people respond to frustrations, how people respond to successes. Who they're listening to and who they trust, things like that.
Sure.
And you start to figure things out as far as what works for kids, what doesn't. And what hurts me the most is seeing just our continual cycle of kids that do not flourish at the high school and college level or whatever they want to become. And it's kind of like, how can we break that cycle? And I'd love to have a beautiful boilerplate that we could just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and in a week, wave my magic wand and everything's great. But it takes time, as you know. You have to build relationships daily. You have to build trust in our kids, in our communities, in our different cultures that we have. And that's not an overnight thing. So I've tried to use my unique position to watch, listen, observe, and then to be there as a stable force when things don't go well. And try to help people kind of head in a good direction, so to speak, knowing that I don't have all the answers. I mean, this isn't easy stuff. But go ahead. No, go
ahead. You've always had a way that the message has always resonated, Gary. Has it had to change with the racial inequities and the unjust, with all the trouble that's gone? Has that message always stayed the same, or has there been a different ebb and flow with what you're taking to young people since there's been some racial injustice come to light?
Yeah, I don't know if it's changed a lot. I think it helps us reevaluate where we are. What I've tried to do is bring more love to it, bring more attention, and continue and consistently share with the kids, with communities, or people that come to our gym and people that I see in the community, how much we care about them and they mean something. And I've tried to do that from the beginning. Now when you try to bring that voice a little bit with, a very difficult situation, it doesn't, you don't get overnight success. I mean, we got a lot of improvements we need to make. I mean, we got to face up to it. We have some serious improvements we need to make from a lot of different directions. And what this tells us is we're not doing a very good job. And this exposes maybe our leadership abilities or lack of leadership abilities in our community that we need to address. And I think you and I know we like to look at challenges and say, what can we do better, rather than say, well, yeah, but haven't you seen what I've done the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Well, you know what? Let's look forward. We're forward thinkers. So
was there somebody along the way, Gary, and you grew up in a small town in Iowa, we've had this discussion. Was there someone along your path that either took your side or gave you an opportunity to say, hey, this is what A, you can do, B, this is the impact you can have, or C, hey, dude, straighten up, turn around, and go forward, or put their arm around you and said, hey, I see something in you that you can take a message to people, whether it be young or old?
Well, I mentioned I was a good listener. Sometimes it takes you a while to start listening. Two things come to mind when it comes to coaching. I really enjoy coaching and watching kids improve. And I will say, when I grew up, I was not, looking back, very impressed with some of the coaches I had, because I don't think they've helped us as kids feel like we were part of the team. They weren't doing those extra things. If we weren't good, they looked down on us. It was almost like I would show up at one of the first practices and they're like, oh, there's Thrapp. He showed up again? Oh, Lord. So I took that early. I took that early, and that motivated me. Man, I took something, I could have looked at that and said, well, everybody hates me. I decided to look at that and say, I'm going to prove them wrong. And so by the time I was a senior, I was captain of the football team and one of the guards in basketball that, before I got injured, was kind of being relied on a little bit. So it worked for me, that did. But once you get into college, crazy things, we go through so many different things in college. There was one elderly gentleman that I had known and my family had known that looked at me one time when I was at the lowest point in my life, and he said, Thrapp, what is going on with you? And I don't know what it was, but that just woke me up to the fact that I was heading down a bad slope. So what does that tell me? If that one incident had an impact on me, then me as now an adult, if we, work together with so many kids, you never know what message is going to resonate with a young person that will help them. So now if we flood them with messages in a positive way, challenging way, then you never know. And what excites me the most is when like a 20-year-old person comes back and said, Gary, thank you for everything you did. And I didn't even know that I was impacting that person. So talk about lighting you up.
Is there one message though, Gary, that is there a standard operating procedure that you share, one point that you drive home to young people? Or is it, do you find every situation has to be different and you have to, as you said, conform, listen, and understand and love to each situation differently?
Yeah, I think I use a variety of different ways to try to communicate to kids based on, with having no expertise necessarily, based on, what they're going through. Bottom line, what resonates with the kids is that you care and that they know that you're going to be there when they need you. Just this last spring and summer, I've had 2 or 3 different kids who got themselves in trouble. These are some of the kids out on the streets doing some pretty tough stuff that is, that were very challenging for our community. And they reach out to me for help. That means a lot to me, but it tells me that I'm doing something to where kids will trust me that I may be able to help them a little bit in a variety of ways. So I'm more try to reach a lot of different kids and be consistent with them, try to give them a good, strong message, thinking about their future. So many of our kids that are struggling think about what they're doing later today. We have to help them think in the future. So we try to bring those consistent, good messages to them with no guarantees on the results.
Gary, a moment ago, you said we as adults have a great deal of work to do. Yeah. Where are we in that? When are we setting the right example for young people? And talk a little bit locally about what we as adult males need to do in our community to reach some of those goals that you just spoke of.
This is not easy stuff, because to be real, I got to emphasize that I'm not terribly impressed. I see each and everything we have going on at the gym. As I mentioned, I see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm not very impressed with, especially basketball coaches in general. There's something about a basketball coach that once you sign up for it, you are suddenly an expert in basketball. And it's very difficult to help coaches realize that they have now put themselves in a position where other kids are watching their every move. And when I see coaches get out of control during games, I know that they're trying to help their kids, but they don't quite realize that so often they're hurting them. And it's hard for us as adult men, to realize that, we got some improvements to make. Just this last weekend, I had a 20-year-old man that's a college student athlete who, while we're watching some games play out, and I've known this young man since he was in 4th or 5th grade. He grew up in our gym playing basketball. We're watching games and having a good conversation. And you know what he said to me? He goes, "Gary, I don't think some of these coaches should be around children." I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
isn't that something?
Yes.
And that's from his experiences and what he's watching happen, and how the kids are responding. And so, I'm still listening, because this just emphasizes what I believe is that we're not doing a very good job of really taking ownership of our positions as leaders and trying to help our kids. And then when we as adults can't get along,
Right.
and we can go from 0 to 60 from a small little disagreement to, okay, I hate you. Our kids are watching that happen, and they're learning those strategies. And it's very hurting. It's very painful to watch that play out each and every day.
Last question of the day, Gary, and I'm grateful. Is there a light at the end of the beyond the baseline tunnel? Will you be able to have a full gymnasium? Is there something that you see that you'll see a full gymnasium sooner than later, or is it all up in the air like the rest of us?
We're all good. I mean, I'm happy if
Good.
just 2 kids are in there. So
Great point.
Yeah, we've worked really hard my wife and I, over the last 30 years in our community, to make sure that we're stable, number one. So, I mean, I don't judge my success based on whether we have a full gym or not. It's more like, okay, whoever shows up, we're going to help and work with them and be partners with them to make it a good experience for the kids. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But, we're focused on trying to make a good positive impact regardless of what the numbers look like and what have you. So.